Hey guys, Tonic here. Today I want to take a quick look at the Fallout 4 mod America Rising. This mod is going to bring an entire Enclave questline right into Fallout 4. This mod has hours of quests, voice characters, and even some new locations like this oil rig that you see right here. Also, I did get in a pretty short interview with the lead developer of this mod, and I'll put that in towards the end of the video. When you start this mod, you're going to get a radio broadcast sent to your Pip-Boy. It's going to lead you to a small cave right under Vault 111, so you can very quickly start this if you're a fresh character. Once in the cave, you'll find that some raiders took up residence inside. I will say the cave is pretty dark, so it might be a good idea to have a flashlight mod to bring with you. Also, I will say I'm not going to spoil the entire questline because it is a lot of fun discovering what is actually happening, but I will discuss the first few quests so you guys can get a general idea of what this mod's all about. Now, once you clear out all the raiders, you will find a second entrance to Vault 111, and this is actually where the mod gets pretty interesting. Vault 111 not only housed the main character in freezing chambers, but it also had a military wing connected to it, dedicated to freezing some soldiers and a general so that they could carry out their duties well after the war is over. This is actually kind of where I was first blown away with this mod. The voice acting is actually pretty solid.
I'm from Vault 111.
What, from the civilian wing? Interesting.
So after you learn about their situation, they end up sending you over to a radio tower to try and re-establish communications with the US military because again, they have been frozen, so they don't exactly know what's going on and they don't really know what their next step is. So upon getting to this radio station, you're going to find that it is jam-packed full of raiders. And this is again where I was just very blown away with this mod. The combat parts of this mod are just very well done. There is a lot of action. Even when you're inside there's like a little terminal, and on that terminal you can choose whether to activate turrets on the roof or to close the windows, and there is a lot of freedom of choice in how you can kind of control the battles, and there is plenty of NPCs to fight. Then after you clear the area out and are able to re-establish communications with the old US military, you guys are going to discover that there is a working vertibird nearby, and this is going to end up taking you to a brand new location. This is going to be the second brand new location that you're going to be able to explore, and I gotta say, it's pretty well done. The interior is again a little bit dark, but the map design is absolutely beautiful. I didn't get lost anywhere, there was a good amount to explore, and overall it was just a fun little dungeon to try and get through.
With the vertibird airworthy, we are ready to proceed with the next part of our plan, establishing our base of operations.
Now with the vertibird secure, you guys are going to end up going on a pretty awesome flight. You guys are actually going to go to the next main base that they're going to take over, which is an oil rig, which is kind of a really cool throwback to the older Fallout games with the Enclave on the oil rigs. Now this oil rig is very populated with ghouls, and something kind of interesting, this is actually the first time that these people are seeing ghouls, so their reaction is pretty funny. They're very surprised at what these things are, they're very curious about them, but basically you just kind of fly around and just gun down a ton of ghouls with a minigun. It's very, very cool. So eventually, after you kind of clear off the main deck of most of the ghouls that you see, you guys are going to make a landing, and this landing goes pretty bad pretty quick. It turns into kind of like a Left 4 Dead zombie horde coming at you. It's very intense. There are a lot of zombie NPCs, or ghoul NPCs I should say, running at you. It is just a ton of fun again, and the combat in this mod again is just very packed of NPCs. There are a lot of enemies on screen at once, and it really does make for these grand, awesome battles. Now after clearing out all the ghouls on the top deck, you will have to go to the lower levels to try and turn the power back on. And this is kind of where the mod takes a very unexpected turn. It kind of turns into a horror CQB situation. There's a lot of very tight hallways. There's a ton of ghouls hiding in these hallways. It's a ton of fun to explore, and it really does leave you wondering what's around every single corner. Now with the power back on and the radios in working order, he's going to make a general announcement to all the remaining forces of the US Army or the Enclave at this point.
Broadcast equipment still seems to be in working order. Here goes. This is a general announcement to all serving personnel of the United States Armed Forces and United States government. Under immediate effect, you are all to be grouped in Sector Omega 75 for reassignment. Those who disregard this order will be judged as deserters and will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. General Russell Ward, signing off.
Then after this, you are going to be sent on a mission to get an FEV sample to experiment with. There is a lot of spoilers in that quest, so I don't really want to talk too much about it, but at the end of it, you do get to go through with some boys in X1 power armor, and they're pretty helpful. Now after securing this FEV sample and arriving back at the oil rig to deliver it, you get greeted with an awesome Enclave flyby. It is super cool, so I'm just going to let this play.
Our numbers continue to grow. So many disparate forces now united. The Enclave are back.
And there you have it, the Enclave are back, and he really does mean it. There are a ton of soldiers on this oil rig now. Even going into the Commonwealth, you will randomly stumble across a ton of new random encounters that this mod adds. And this mod even has a ton of side quests to offer on this oil rig. Just going around and talking with people, you will find a ton of stuff to do. And remember how I said the voice acting is really good? Even the random NPCs that are just walking around the oil rig have their own voice lines, and they are great.
General Ward knows what we lost firsthand. He's our best chance at victory.
Now that's pretty much all I want to cover in terms of the quest line of this mod, because I do feel like I've got the general gist of it, and I don't really want to spoil the entire thing. Now, some things to note is that when you do the quest line for the Enclave, eventually there will be a turning point where you have to choose to either join the Enclave or be hostile towards the Brotherhood of Steel, but it is really nice because it gives you a very clear option so that you don't accidentally turn hostile towards them. And another very cool thing that I didn't really mention is that there is a lot of Enclave lore in here. You can learn about why they hate the Brotherhood, you can learn about some of the past Enclave things through the terminal entries and just talking with people around the oil rig. And besides all of that, now it's actually going to be time for the interview portion of this video. So I sent them over a few questions that I had on Discord, and they actually got back to me pretty quickly with a few answers. Now, I did this over text, so I don't have any voice to go with it. However, my main question to this was, how long did this actually take to develop? And this is the answer that I got. And again, this mod just continues to blow me away. 6 months for the majority of this content is absolutely phenomenal. Of course, there has been updates to it and different things changed, but for the bulk of this mod being made in 6 months, that is a huge achievement, and just hats off to him because that is absolutely amazing. So my next question was, did you run into any issues with trying to work this Enclave questline into the main story, because it fits in very well? And then this is the answer that I got right here. With the initial release, there wasn't as much interaction with the main Fallout 4 story as I would have liked. The biggest element was destroying the Prydwen during the final quest, but I actually had to patch that out as I had not accounted for how far-reaching that action was. There were still NPCs talking as though the Brotherhood of Steel were around, and people weren't acknowledging what had happened. He then goes on to say, I'm confident I've resolved the particular issue in the forthcoming 2.0 update, as well as properly trying to get the Enclave into the game as a full faction that you can side with. Now my next question, of course, is what are the future plans for this mod? The answer that I got is my focus is on getting 2.0 finished. Since it contains new characters, main quests, side quests, and locations, it should provide the definitive experience. After that, it's hard to say. I'll have to see how I feel at the end of it. Maybe I'll go on to make expansions, or maybe I'll go on to make something new entirely. I will be sticking to modding though. Now my final question for this interview was, where can people learn more about this mod? The answer that I got was the best place is probably Otelano's Mods Discord server, where I tend to post teasers and answer questions. And then here's the link, and he sent me the link, and I will post this link down in the description of this video, so if you guys are curious, you guys can hop in there and check out some of the new teasers and screenshots. But that is pretty much going to do it for this video, so I do want to give a massive thank you to everybody who stopped by and watched, and as always, a huge thank you to all of the channel members: Heather Henderson, Esdeath93, Jaden James, Blackburn, Yosevated, Patrick Ruda, 23 Icefire, Jay Smith, Argent Deer, Bowser Double Frang, Ice Cream Manny, Chris Decker, Robert Kenner, Theodore, Captain Awesome, Digital Aardvark, Lone Samurai OG, Diathan Gaming, Christy Mellon Schwitz. You guys are amazing. I love you guys, and have a good weekend.